Do you need new ways to ruin your own race? Other people punting you around just doesn't cut it anymore? And you've already tried punting other people yourself and ruining your own race at the same time? Well then, I've got the car for you. Now you can just lift a little bit too much and hit a wall, or look at a curb the wrong way and spin out all the same. All of that and more is possible with this Lamborghini Huracán Super Trofeo Evo from 2018. And with that, welcome back to HD Racing, to the Quick Look series. Oh wow, the Lamborghini Huracán. This car is special, and not in a good way. I don't know how it made it to the game in this state, but it somehow did, and I'm really not sure what to make of this. In some places this car is way too good, and in others it's just bad. Let me explain and show you what I mean in this video. But before we really get into this, I want to just quickly ask you to maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit that like button so other people will get recommended the video as well. But yeah, the Lamborghini Huracán Super Trofeo Evo. Let's just call it the Huracán for this video. This car was something else. I had some cars already which were kind of difficult to drive, but this one was on another level. And the main thing is its lift-off oversteer. It's crazy. If you take a look at it closely, we are taking a look right now at the lap in the stock tune, so what you will be driving in multiplayer if you don't do any tuning yourself in the spec series. I at least try to not lift fully in most places, because if you do that, it's really easy to spin the rear around, and once it starts spinning, you're not getting it back, or at least it's almost impossible. Like if it's just sliding a little bit, then you maybe can catch it, but in most cases I found that it's really difficult. And yeah, the stock tune, you're gonna see the time here, 1:44.447. I probably could have gone faster, but I really didn't want to drive this anymore in its stock form, because it was just not fun. And it was so difficult to drive, and you really had to make sure to be on your toes all the time. And it was nowhere near consistent. I was all over the place with my times. It was a little better once I started doing some tuning on the car. But still, this one is a handful to drive. And it really sometimes just screws you over, even though you seem to be doing the same as you've been doing the laps before that. Sometimes, if you hit a curb the wrong way, like this one on the left for example, you just spin out, and you don't even need to touch the grass for that. Other times, you go over some bumpier curbs and the car just spins around like crazy. You may have seen that in the clip in the beginning, and I think we're gonna take a look at that later once again. And yeah, it's crazy, in my opinion, how difficult this car sometimes is to drive and how unpredictable it is at the same time. But, and that is the crazy part to me, the car is fast. Very fast. And while I still stand by what I said for the stock tune, it's nowhere near consistent enough, at least for me. You can get crazy lap times in this one. So, as you see, we are driving right now against the ghost of a 1:43.391. That was the Acura NSX, the best time that I've been able to do. Yes, I haven't done the Audi yet, but still, it was a very good time. In this one, so far I've done a 1:43.85, but in this lap it's a 1:42.85. That was crazy to me. And I did it with this tune. So you're gonna see some weird values here. Values that I normally wouldn't use on other GT cars, or haven't used on other GT cars. But I just needed to make sure that this car was controllable, at least to some degree. And while I think you will never get this car to behave as nicely as, for example, the BMW or the Corvette C8 or some of the other GT cars, I think I made it better in terms of being more consistent and fast. But as I said, it's still a handful. even though I try to make it more stable, it still sometimes just screws you over out of nowhere. And that is my main problem with this car. And I'm gonna show you what I mean while we take a look at some race footage. Don't get me wrong, the car can be very good in capable hands, but I feel like my hands are not capable enough for this. You're gonna see at the start of this race how ridiculous this car can be. I'm starting P4 here, but look at the launch of this car. Look at how easy it is for me to pull alongside and then overtake 3 guys that started in front of me. But this luck won't last. I definitely go too wide here in this turn, and I know, or at least think, that there's someone on my inside, or now outside, and I think he's still there, and we are somehow glued together. That sometimes happens in Forza, and well, I go off track there and fall back at least a little bit, and then I outbrake myself just a bit and go into this corner too quickly, lose control of the rear a little bit, try to counter steer to get it back under control, but no chance. I just spin out. And well, that was this race done basically. And I've had that happen multiple times. And we're gonna take a look at another example here. This is at Barcelona. This is the National Old variant. And here I did qualify in P1. And you will see that my first lap here will be okay, but not great in terms of my driving. But for now, I am able to keep the guys that started behind me there where I left them, behind me. But yeah, you're gonna see some weird lines that I take here. I really wasn't comfortable when starting this race for some reason. I had some other races before where this car screwed me over, or I got screwed over by other people. That also happened, but that's par for the course. We know this happens, and yeah, you just move on from that. But what this car sometimes does to you is just not fun, not at all. And yes, the car is fast, and you're gonna see, like you saw at the start of Mugello, where I was able to pull away quite quickly just on starting. And here in this race, you're gonna see if you can do kind of decent. And as I said, I don't think my driving here is particularly good. I still pull away from the guys behind. I think there was some contact or something. Can't really see, because once again there is the missing mirror situation. On my monitor I can see a little bit of the left side mirror, but no rear view mirror or monitor. There's nothing really to help you take a look at what's going on behind you. But yeah, I was able to pull away. We are now in lap number 3 and 3 seconds to the guy in P2, and I was like, okay, I just need to bring this home. I know this track very well, so let's just be a little bit careful, but still try to push a little bit. And then this happens. You've seen that in the beginning already, and like, I don't know what this was. It seems like I bottomed out. No idea how, because if you had taken a look at the tuning, I did soften up the springs at least a little bit, and I even raised the ride height, because I had these problems over curbs, both with sliding out and bottoming out. So I really tried to make sure that this wouldn't happen, but it still did. And yeah, I have no idea how. And it's not only here on Barcelona. I've had these problems in multiple places. Maybe I would need to raise the ride height even more or soften up the springs, but I think then the driving characteristics of the car will get even worse in other places. But you let me know if you have any idea of any other way how to fix this. And you can see here, once again, I have a little bit of problem trying to get the car under control. I had to counter steer because it started to slide out under me, and well, there was just no way to save that, and I once again hit a wall. And that was basically the theme. I did like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 races in this car. And at the end of it, I just decided to give up on trying to get a good race in this car. I just couldn't. And I'm sorry if you are wanting to see like a full race where like you can really see what the car does. It just wasn't happening for me with this one. Maybe if I can stomach to use this car once again in the future, then maybe I will try to get something cool for you, but I'm very sorry to say that I just couldn't. There was just no way. And you can see here up Radeon, once again, almost lose control. I somehow managed to like keep it together and use the space of the pit exit. And luckily the guy here on the left, I think he saw me and was able to avoid while I was rejoining. But that could have gone very much south quite quickly. But yeah, Spa, a track that I really like, but I was struggling here. Even just in practice and qualifying, I really had trouble getting through En Rouge Radeon cleanly. Just at least in the laps that I was doing at speeds that I would say are okay. Like, I think it is a little bit more difficult on Forza Motorsport than I'm used to from Assetto Corsa Competizione, where I have driven Spa quite a lot more. But still, I've had a way easier time in other cars here on this track. But in this one, it's so flimsy, and just if you have to correct some oversteer moment, if you overdo it, then you can just lose the car so quickly. One thing that I didn't talk about, which is very good about this car, is the brakes. As I said before, it is very fast, and I think that is partly because of its good acceleration. You've seen that before, but it's also because of the really good brakes. By the way, here you're gonna see the incident from the start of the video. I lifted completely, which apparently I shouldn't have done, and probably turned in a little bit too sharply, and the car really was like, nope, you're not gonna get through that fast left-hander without, yeah, spinning out. I don't know. I tried to get back into it here, but you're gonna see that I will have a really bad time as someone here decides to try to push his way past. But yeah, the brakes, as I said, are quite good in this car, and the car can go very fast. Like, if you're hot lapping or in a qualifying session, I think you can have a really good time in this one, because you can be very fast. But everything else about this car, I don't know. And by the way, look at this. I'm not sure if I maybe should have backed out there immediately because he was in front, but then again, I don't know. It looked like it was on purpose where he like pushed his way past. But this was basically my experience in this car, and I have to say I didn't have a lot of fun, or basically almost none at all, and it was quite frustrating to well, drive this car. Even though I tried to make it work for me, I just couldn't. That might be due to tuning still. Maybe I can do a little bit more. If you have any suggestions on what could be done to make this car a little bit more, well, easy or like stable, I would say, to drive, then definitely let us know in the comments. But I think for me it is a lot just the car, just the way this works, just the way this car is out of the box handling, and well, how it performs in terms of being very twitchy on the rear axle. It's just not for me, I don't think. And well, that's basically what I wanted to say about this car. If you are a beginner to Forza, I would definitely urge you, do not use this car in multiplayer. Try it out if you want to in single player or in rivals, and see if you like it and if you can maybe make it work for you with tuning. But there are definitely way better cars to use if you are more of a beginner. But I would really also like to know if you are more experienced and have tried this car. Can you make this work better than I was able to? I would really like to know, because I'm not the greatest driver, and maybe it's just my driving style that just doesn't mesh well with this car. And maybe I'm just also not good enough to be able to handle a car like this. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. Let me know what you think and what your experience is. and leave a like on the video if you haven't done that already. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. I've been HD Racing. See you in the next one.